All right, ready?
Yeah, you
Okay.
start.
All right. We're in Badlands with Nick Zangari. You're getting ready for the final pour. Is coming up. This is, I remember you at the dock. You were in the very first issue of In Weekly.
That's right.
We were talking about alcohol on the beach.
1999.
That's right. You were in the very first issue.
I still have my copy. Right?
Yeah. We did that. You ended up at Old Town Tavern. Then you came downtown in a location that hadn't worked for anybody. And talk about what New York Knicks, what your original concept was, because it was very original.
Yeah, the original concept was the rock and the jock. We were, the live entertainment, and you didn't have to listen to the sporting event to watch it. So we were going to concentrate on the live rock, the rock and jock, and the pub and grub, with the pub for the alcohol, the drinking part of it, and then the grub with the food. And I know it wasn't grub because it was a lot of homemade food, a lot of people.
Your mom's marinara sauce. You had
people still asking for those items. And
seafood surprise. They still ask for that?
Yeah. No, he took that off the menu. So we teased him so bad.
Yeah.
We don't want to know what the surprise is. Surprise is
I forgot what I renamed
fish.
I forgot what I renamed. The surprise was the fish. Yeah. It was whitefish. It was white.
But you also were open originally. You like almost 24/7.
I wanted to be 24/7, and it was a good idea. The only problem was at that point there was nothing downtown to have people, and I was trying to even capitalize on the Whataburger / Waffle House people to come in. And the easy thing for after hours was giving the law enforcement free coffee, so I'd have people in there just in case after hours, this and that. So I was always pretty much protected. But there wasn't enough people for it. It would happen. I'm sure it could work now downtown. Or even back in its heyday, maybe 10 years ago when downtown was bursting at the seams.
Well, I remember for us, because we were in the Thiessen building, we were down here, and we were always running past deadlines. So it wouldn't be unusual for us to show up at 11 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning, and get a pitcher of beer and fries and burger. Yeah, of course, none of that was good for our health. But this is, and pretty much every time we came here, I pissed you off for one reason. And
I don't remember.
You liked me after Hurricane Ivan. Before Hurricane Ivan, you didn't like me.
But I don't understand. I don't know why. Because I must be either blocking that out, or I really don't remember. But 25 years downtown. I mean, in 2000 was the Old Town Tavern. In 2003 was New York Knicks. When Mike Ashby and I left the beach in '99, he did intermission and I did the Old Town Tavern. People thought we were crazy. They thought we were out of our minds.
Right. Who would leave the beach?
What are you doing downtown? Downtown's this, downtown's that. Well, at that time, every city in the country was trying to rediscover the downtown districts. The suburban sprawl had ceased. The malls had got to that point, and everything started coming back down to the warehouse, waterfront, and historical districts in every city. Everybody wanted up Beale Street. Everybody wanted Ybor City.
Right.
That's just the way it was. Palafox was the easiest choice.
Well, and you look at you had things going. It was you were doing the bands. You had the music. You had the food was good. Then Hurricane Ivan hits, and you become was the haven for all the reporters that came from all over the country. You were the place they could go to. You had power, and you had food, and you had air conditioning.
We were the last ones open.
Right.
These people all came to town to cover the hurricane, and it was unprecedented because at that time, with the advent of the internet and stuff like that, they plugged their cameras into my phone line, which never went down. And I told the people when they came in that last day before it hit, you guys need to stay here. This building's been here 100 years. It's not going anywhere.
Right.
And I'm staying here, and they felt comfortable instead of going to a little motel. And sure enough, they were broadcasting. I mean, white caps on Palafox and the signs blowing in the wind, and it was all over the country.
Right.
I got phone calls from all over the country, and the next morning, I was doing morning shows all over the country.
Right.
People thinking that I was out of my mind for being in the middle of a hurricane. Well, To each his own.
Well, but it sort of developed. Even this sort of became the safe haven for everybody downtown. After that point, I think everybody thought of Nick's as a place to go. And the other thing that you did that was unique was you had televisions everywhere. So when you sat at a table, you could watch 4 games and turn just slightly and watch 4 more games, and 4 more, and you could, you had every package. And of course, then you had to have the special wand.
Yeah, I wish we had a picture of the wand.
Okay, the wand it lives. It's in my garage in a box of memorabilia from New York Knicks, and it still lives. I still saved it.
Describe the wand.
It was this rig thing with some duct tape on it.
It was a cone that had duct tape.
Very long antenna on it, and you'd have to put it right at a TV to get it to switch. And I just remember if you asked him to change the channel, he'd stand there cussing.
Because of the direct TV beam would spread out. So I isolated the beam from the end of the remote into a little cone, and there was a little dot. So it was a little dot, and it worked. But we showed sports for anybody from all over the country, and that's Pensacola is made up of people from all over the country with the military influence down here and everything. So the sports thing worked out. It's funny because after the hurricane, all of my bands lost their equipment, so I had no live entertainment. But Damon's, which was a sports bar, decided not to reopen, and I went to all sports.
Right. Yeah. Well, and you come here on any. I remember coming here one time. And you had Montana and Montana State, and they had their alumni. So we joined.
I joined Montana.
You joined another one. And I joined the other one.
I'm a member of Montana.
But it would be fascinating the people that you would meet in New York Knicks.
It was a melting pot of a lot of. I had people who didn't care about sports that loved the food. I had the sports people that knew they could get everything. They could see the top 10, as well as Alabama, Auburn, Florida State. There was just everything for everybody. And you can't be everything to everybody in the sport, but in the sports world, you can. If you broadcast everything, they know. We got to go to Knicks if we want to watch.
Right.
If you want to see Notre Dame, because most of the places that were down here were concentrated on the Big Four plus Georgia, LSU.
Or they might do an alumni group, but and then the food was consistent, and you really worked hard at that.
I never hired chefs. I hired cooks. Just follow the recipe. Just follow the recipe, make it so it's consistent, so that the customers know. It wasn't the best in the world. It wasn't a 5-star restaurant, but it was good.
It was
food.
Good. It was good.
A lot of it was homemade recipes.
Right.
One of the things that I always liked about the restaurant is that if you were in my line of work, at the time it was law enforcement, and you could come into Nick's and sit at a table, and everybody at the table can hear each other just fine, but the next table can't hear the words you're saying.
Oh, I did a bunch of interviews.
And so we do that for interviews, and I told the sheriff, I said, if you ever have a dicey meeting, you need to, you want to have a good conversation, and you don't want to be in a fishbowl, go to Nick's, because nobody can really listen in on your conversation, and you can have a chance to really talk. So it was the place we did interviews. It was the place that we had big discussions.
Sheriff
we had a
Morgan.
lot of meetings at Nick's.
Yeah, Sheriff Morgan, he loved it. I remember when it went out, he was like, "Wow, what am I going to go? What am I going to do?" It was just like you said. It was that perfect meshing environment where the music was surrounded by you. You were surrounded by music. But it wasn't coming from 2 speakers blasting the whole place.
Right.
It was surrounded so that the volume was almost like here, where the volume was just right.
Just right.
And you could talk. And
then you had the all-star waitresses that you had. They were highly trained.
Wow, what was the long-running joke? Did I serve more baskets of wings, or more waitresses? Did I go through more waitresses?
I just remember that New Year's Eve where everybody quit, and I had to bus tables.
The one year where there was a mutiny and everybody decided, we're done, and like, wow, and they did. They all up. I think I lost like 2 cooks and 4 waitresses and a bartender, all at the same time.
Oh, I was there the next day. I was helping you bus tables. But that's what we did.
That's the nature of the business.
Right, it is.
Wow. But yeah, 25 years.
Yeah. Nick's became also the place where reporters came. I mean, we talked about Ivan, but I remember having a lot of meetings with different reporters out of town here, stuff on the Billings case, the BP oil spill, just so many different interviews. And this was the place where we had the times where I had interviews that I was a little worried about, and you would watch over me to be sure I was going to be able. I needed somebody, I'd let you know.
Those couple of times you did let me know.
Okay, I don't know who this is.
Even meetings with elected officials, and Rick Scott walks in the door,
Cena had something to do with
I
that.
had something to do with that.
And, famous last words, Rick Scott. Why aren't you cleaning up after the flood? Everybody else was trying to clean up after the flood. So I'm the only one who's got flood insurance. And I'm on my way to go see Springsteen tomorrow night in Tampa now. So that was he laughed. He thought that was the funniest thing. In fact, he's on the wall with Sheriff Morgan. When
What had happened is we after the day after the flood, the sheriff and I were walking him around and seeing all the flood damage, and we ended up downtown. And I was like, I was gonna make sure he got over here to see you because I had. And it's so funny because Rick is down at his office working, and I'm like, we're down here with the governor. Come on down, and he wouldn't come down. I'm like, the governor's down here.
No, you kept saying, we're coming. I didn't know you meant the governor. I just thought it was you and Morgan. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All right.
Yeah, we're down here.
So we got one picture of me with this ratty shirt on with the camera and interview, trying to memorize everything that Rick Scott was telling me for the interview. But
wow, what a day that was.
It was
25 inches in 25 hours.
The other thing I think that was really cool, and we want to talk about Badlands too, but the other thing about Nick's was it was such, you would see people every day, different people. You could walk through Nick's, grab a burger, and there would be somebody from this part of life and that part of life, and all different ages, colors, sizes, and it was a welcoming environment, and everybody felt comfortable. Unless you asked to change the channel, but
it was the big screen as far as the channels. On the Saturdays and Sundays you had to mark the big screens for the game, so they wouldn't be changed. So you wouldn't end up with
I'm teasing you.
I know. But the melting pot of people that came to New York Knicks, it got to be that kind of a gathering spot, and immediately after the hurricane, it was like people were like, wow. Look what you did. You were all over the place. We saw you. We saw this. But the easy part was opening the doors and just presenting what my dream was, what my ideal was.
And it worked.
And it worked for 13 years. It might have kept working. I mean, let me put it this way. When you're in the middle of downtown Pensacola, which is a small market city, and you have two sports bars open up across the street from you where there's well over 1,000 seats in the middle of downtown Pensacola, let alone far be it New York City, it was like,
But, think
for them.
Well, think of some of the challenges you had. You had at New York Knicks, you had a kitchen that was about the size of a bathroom.
Yeah.
It was
a closet.
A closet. It was a closet that you made into
like a walk-in closet that originally the place was designed for the one shotgun and the kitchen for 50 to 75 seats. I ended up having 240
seats. You expanded
because it went three of these wide. And they were putting out food out of that restaurant, out of that kitchen. Wow.
All right, let's talk about Radio Free.
Radio Free Pensacola.
Which was an idea over drinks with us, Fred was there.
Fred Shett, yeah. We were the frustrated DJs from FM radio.
That's the two of y'all.
Yeah, that was the two of us.
They never got to play exactly what we wanted to play.
Couldn't play what you want. You couldn't say what you want. But with the advent of streaming, where the FCC was not involved, you were able to create a radio station that would fit any DJ's personality and do their own thing. And in the beginning, we had like 22 DJs, and it was a harebrained thought, a harebrained idea
Brad
we
picked
could-
out the tech,
yeah,
figured out the technology of it.
we can do this. Yeah, it's like, it can't be done. Where they say build it, they will come. Well, we did it. We built it. Geez, it looked like a penalty box over there.
Right. Well,
Table.
you had valuable space, and you devoted it to it. But it's you've developed a long a loyal following with it.
I had more people listening to me in the Northeast, whether they were family, high school, or college friends, than I had anywhere else in the world. Because you could track where the listeners were coming from.
Right.
You couldn't track exactly, but you could tell the areas that were lighting up, and I'm like, look at this, look at the Northeast. So it was fun, and it was a lot of fun. Like she said, say what you want, say what you want,
Right.
and it's and reach out to those people. Now there's 950,000 podcasts,
Right. Well,
and radio stations and this and that, and everybody's got their own thing. So there's still a demand for it, still a niche for it. It's who knows? I may revisit that again in my not afterlife, after retirement life.
Well, and then you moved into Badlands. You shortened your menu down to popcorn. to popcorn.
I got the smallest kitchen on Palafox.
Exactly. All right.
It's 8 inches. It's 8
the
inches
frozen
round.
pizza experiment didn't work.
Well, we
Hot
can talk a little
Pockets.
bit. Let's talk a little bit about the pandemic and how you managed that.
Well, there's a loophole where that if you served food that was actually cooked, not popcorn. Well, popcorn didn't apparently popcorn didn't count, but I cooked it on the premises. Now hot dogs counted. I bought a little turbo oven, and I went and bought bagel bites.
Right.
And I went and bought those little Tony's pizzas, and I priced them not to sell, but you could open up your bar and
I think
sell
I had a Teddy's pizza.
and sell. You could sell the drinks
I was
to go.
I was fighting for the Hot Pockets,
Yeah.
but we never got those.
Let me put it this way: after it was over, I had to throw away because it got freezer burned.
yeah.
I think I
They
sold.
sold like hotcakes.
I think I sold 2 of each. And to both
That's right.
I know I got a Teddy's pizza. It was over there.
So we worked our way around the pandemic thing that way. So a lot of challenges. Geez. A lot of different changes. A lot of you two were there through all the
All of
changes.
it.
You don't have to explain any of that. You've seen it all.
Well, downtown has changed a lot. We're going, and Cena and I talk about their friends about it. Is we're losing with intermission and with y'all and you going. We're losing that hometown local feel. It's not that the other places aren't good. They have what they're doing, but there was something about the Cheers type environment where everybody knows your name, or the Winchester.
We used to call it the Winchester because it's like I'd be like like I had one birthday where everybody did a lot for me and sort of had a surprise birthday party, and then every year after that it's like, what are you gonna do for my birthday? And all my friends were like, next. So I started calling it the Winchester.
Right.
It's just sort of like a Shaun of the Dead. It's just like, yep, here's a creative idea. Let's go to this.
You could theoretically take. You want to go back 25? It's 25 years now. In 2000, you could theoretically go back and take the independent news, one copy from each year, and open up and see the ads and just see the places that were open at that year,
right?
The next year, and in 25 years, how many different things have changed? Everything. We lost Hop Jacks, we lost the Tin Cow, we lost this, that, and the other all through the years. But the ones who blazed the trail, Blazoo's tried to blaze a trail in the beginning. There was the sweet, there was the what was it, the ice thing over there across the street, or the the
Ocean or whatever it was.
Yeah, then the ocean thing. Yeah,
But you had when you were
Sweetwater or freshwater.
Margaritas downtown was here, was a great
Margaritas.
place.
Margaritas
You know,
was
you had Breakdown Cafe was a big part. We talked about Hopjack.
The
Mr.
pizza shop.
Manatee's that I'm
Mr.
taking a while
Manatee's,
already.
the pizza shop on the corner. What was his name? Louis
or
or
Frankie's.
Frankie?
Frankie's was down by us.
Yeah.
He didn't show up for work every day. That was
No,
the problem.
that's right.
That was you never knew it was going to be open.
There was something. And remember, there was a Blimpie and a Subway down
Right,
there
Limpy's.
in the beginning. Yeah,
And then you had, let's see, Piccadilly Deli was down here for a while.
That's right.
It all that was transitioning, and you know it settled out. Now we've got the traffic. Rents are getting more expensive. Things are getting charged higher. But that idea of that neighborhood bar, that local, I'm a dive bar guy, and that dive to me is not a bad word, but it has that feel to it, and we've lost a lot of that here, and maybe it will come back. Someone's going to find the niche and be able to figure it out.
The evolution of downtown Pensacola will never stop. There's a lot of out with the old and in with the new type of mentality. I mean, they redid the handlebar. It's not the same. The Azalea did stay the same. Mr. Larry Johnson sold it, but that stayed the same. Intermission, they kept the name, they cleaned it up, they fixed a lot of things that should have been fixed, and then now the music has changed where they're catering more toward a younger dancing demographic.
Right.
They even got karaoke in there on Wednesday nights too. Like, wow. So
And let's be clear too. This bar is not closing. It's just
this
going to
bar
transition.
is not closing. Yeah,
Right.
I have. What? How do you say? I have sold the rights to the rest of my lease. I have. Somebody's taking it over. They're keeping the name. They say they're eventually going to change the name, but I don't know what their plans are. Everything that's in here is coming with me.
Right.
So who knows what they're going to put up or how they're going to put it up or anything like that either.
Well, it's things change. Like you said, it's all part of an evolution. But we appreciate you letting us do this today.
Yeah. And I was thinking back in the day, the original, when I first started coming to Nick's, it was a one-way street, and the T-shirt said, "Where parking is a spectator sport."
Right.
I still got one.
It's
Yeah.
the only thing I could think of what to put on the back of the shirt was, where parking is a spectator sport, especially because of the parallel parking down there. It's amazing what you see and what you have seen, and that shirt. But I almost put it on the back of these shirts.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. What a long, strange trip it's been, huh?
Well, it is changing. I mean, downtown, because there were so few of us in the 2000s that we all ended up, bonding.
It was, and a lot of things that were against us, and that people just didn't believe in it, and it wasn't. It's not going to happen. We went from 3 gallery nights, they went to 5 gallery nights, and it was like, now why don't we just do one every month? So people know that there's going to be one consistently every month, not every other month, and then 2 back to back. So the galleries came about.
Well, look at how small Mardi Gras was originally, because I was involved in the early Mardi Gras here, and maybe you'd have 2 or 3 people deep, and then now it's a huge crowd. And
look at over the years we had the Pelican drop that they did, and look at how they developed the little market that was just a few people.
Oh yeah, Halifax Market is really
Halifax Market is great, huge. The foot traffic on Saturdays is astronomical.
Right.
What between the DIB, the city, and most of all the merchants down here, believing in what the future was going to hold, especially on Halifax.
Yeah.
And then you got and of course some of the major things that happened with Quint Studer coming in with doing what he did with the old P&J. the baseball stadium.
Oh,
came.
thank you.
You know, those are some of the pluses. Some of the minuses, you know, we lost to Lexington because of the short-sightedness at that point
Right.
of what the future could hold and this and that. So there was a lot of, you know, there's a lot of ups, a lot of downs. Geez, I remember fighting until I was blue in the face about the food truck. Just think,
No, not you.
this whole
That was the shouting match.
I still have your little. I still have the world's smallest food truck.
That comes up on my memories every year.
It's still in
We're
there. I
pushing
still have
around
the
on the
world's
street.
smallest food truck.
And
But,
it was
you know,
one of the few times that we weren't watching sports, and he got mad when he came back from the meeting because we were all watching him at the city council
that's right.
meeting.
You were at the meting. We all went.
And you came back. It's like, you know, because I put it on Facebook. We were watching the city council meeting. But yeah.
you know, I would have nightmares at that point. That geez, if just because they can park in a regular spot, not even just in front of my business, but the whole street. You could have cotton candy trailers. You could have snow cones. The whole thing would look like the state fair 7 days and
Cats
nights a
with
week.
dogs. It would have been horrible.
Cats with dogs.
It would have been horrible.
Cats living with dogs.
It would be horrible.
Well, you know, it's you know, after 25 years, it is what it is. No regrets.
No regret, but it's been fantastic.
And you know, I tell you what, it's like in my family. I mean, this has been such a ride. You know, my whole family likes coming. My dad used to love to come watch games at Nick's. And there's like one Mother's Day, we didn't have. We brought Mom, and Nick gave her a shot. But I mean, I've celebrated Christmas here. I here in the restaurant. I have in.
Numerous birthdays.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's another $1 million question. Who's going to open on Thanksgiving and Christmas?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
You know, and we know it's always going to be open if there's a storm. There's always some place to go.
Well, let me put it this way. This is how I knew the end was near for me, was when we had the blizzard 2-3 weeks ago, and I didn't open.
Oh, yeah, that was the
I was like-
right.
For everything.
I texted Rick and said, "Look, Nick's not even coming there."
Right.
And
I was trying to come across the bridge, and Cena said, Nick's not even open. Why would you come across?
I wanted to, but I didn't
Right,
mind
right.
getting stuck here. But I knew that there would be 50, 60 people here expecting me to be a bartender
Right.
for them and serving and everything. I just wanted to enjoy being here
Right.
and have a place for people to come in and enjoy it. And I just didn't want to work like that. And I couldn't strand a girl here. Then
Right.
we'd both be stranded here, and then we'd all be in trouble.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for doing this interview.
Oh no!
You've been
Thank you for allowing me.
Oh, it's always been
Thanks for the
great.
memories, Nick.
Yes, sir.
What do they say? What a long, strange trip it's been.
It has. All right. Thank you. Got it.
Thanks for watching, and to keep up with what's going on, be sure and subscribe. Just click on the little dog to the right and click the subscribe button. You can also like this video and click on the bell, which will notify you of new content. This really helps the channel grow. We appreciate you.
Crispy, refreshing, natural grapefruit flavors.